Good morning, everyone. For my final project in Python programming with machine learning, I developed a machine learning model that predicts student performance using a dataset of student exam scores and demographic information. And for the goal of this project is to determine whether a student is likely to pass or fail based on several factors such as gender, parental education, launch type, test preparation course, and exam scores. This project this project demonstrates the use of Python programming, exploratory data analysis or EDA, data visualization, machine learning, hyperparameter tuning, file handling, and exception handling using Google Colab. And for dataset information, the dataset used for this project is the student performance dataset obtained from Kaggle. And for the dataset contains information about students including gender, race or ethnicity, parental level of education, lunch type, test preparation course, math score, reading score, and writing score. To create our target variable, we computed the average of the math, reading, and writing scores. Students with an average score of 50 or above were classified as pass, while those below 50 were classified as failed. For our exploratory data analysis before building the machine learning model, I performed a exploratory data analysis to better understand the dataset. First, I examined the dataset structure using functions such as head, info, and describe, and then I checked for missing values and verified the data types of each column. And then I then created several visualizations. The histogram showed the distribution of students' average scores. The bar chart displayed the gender distribution of students in the dataset. The pie chart illustrated the percentage of students who passed and failed. The box the box plot helped identify score distributions and possible outliers. And for the scatter plot showed the relationship between reading and writing scores. And finally, the heat map displayed correlations among numerical variables. And we observed that reading and writing scores had a strong positive correlation, indicating that students who performed well in reading generally performed well in writing. For my data processing is after completing the exploratory analysis, we prepared the data for machine learning. Categorical variables were converted into numerical variables using label encoding. Next is we separated the data set into input features and a target variable. Now moving on to my presentation is first is the project overview. This project aims to predict whether a student will pass or fail using machine learning techniques. The project includes exploratory data analysis, like I said before, and the data visualization, data reprocessing, machine learning model development, hyperparameter tuning, and lastly, model evaluation. And for my problem statement is educational institutions needs way to identify students who may be at risk of poor academic performance. Machine learning can analyze student data and predict outcomes, helping educators provide early intervention and support. And for my dataset information is Kaggle student performance dataset. It features gender, race, ethnicity, parental level of education, lunch type, test preparation course, math score, reading score, writing score, and my target variable is whether they will pass or fail. And for my project workflow is I have this machine learning workflow, which is to load dataset, exploratory data analysis, data reprocessing, model training, hyperparameter tuning, model evaluation, and lastly, conclusion. And for the first exploratory data analysis is it will track whether it checked missing values, verified data types, generated statistical summaries, analyzed correlations, identified outliers, and for the purpose of this exploratory data analysis is to understand the structure quality of the and the quality of the dataset before training the model. For my Here is my data visualization. As we can see, the histogram has um at least many of them many of the students passed, and as we can see here, yeah, it's and for the key findings of my data visualization is to track the reading and writing scores showed a strong positive correlation of the students. Next is data processing. And for my data collection is I have steps performed, which is the first step is to label encoding for categorical variables and to show that whether the students have passed or failed in these, whether they're writing and reading. And for second is feature selection. Third is train test split. And for the benefits of data processing and data collection is to converts data into a machine readable format and improves model performance and prevents data leakage. And moving on to my machine learning algorithm is I have a decision tree classifier and algorithm chosen is decision tree. Reason for selection is easy to understand, suitable for classification problems, requires minimal reprocessing, and lastly to produce interpretable results. And for the next slide, sir, is my model evaluation. As we can see here, we have a evaluation metrics, and the metrics used are accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, and then lastly, confusion matrix. The purpose of this metrics is to measure how well the model predicts student performance. And moving on to the next slide is we have file handling and exception handling. And additional requirements implemented are file handling. The first one is loaded dataset from CSV file, and then saved it tuning results to CSV, and exception handling. And handled are the things here. The first one is missing dataset file. The second one is empty file. The third one is invalid input, and lastly, the unexpected program errors. So in conclusion, is in conclusion, this project successfully applied machine learning techniques to predict student performance, and the project demonstrated exploratory data analysis, data visualization, data reprocessing, model training, manual grid, manual grid search, hyperparameter tuning, model evaluation, file handling, and lastly, exception handling. And the results showed that machine learning can effectively be used to analyze educational data, and assist in predicting student outcomes. That's all, sir. Thank you very much.